Hey Scorpios, how y'all doing? Welcome. We're going to be taking a look at your second half of November general reading here. First of all, I hope that your birthday season has been fabulous and that it continues to be, fabulous in the last, remnants of it. And in your meditation, it's interesting. So you guys have gotten the swan a lot as an animal energy that comes through for you quite a bit. It's it's hard not to equate Scorpio energy with the scorpion or the bat, for example, which represents death energy. But for you guys, it feels a lot like the swan represents you guys a lot as well. And that was coming through in your meditation. So the swan is technically Aquarian energy that feels like it's presenting itself as Scorpio, which is about great hope, great faith, great love, but also divine placement. And I want to say that to you, divine placement. Also, that the path will reveal itself. The path will reveal itself. So the meditation was that I saw a swan kind of go, it was like, gliding in the water, but then it hit a waterfall that it didn't know was there. And the waterfall took it and it tried to fly so that it didn't crash in the water below, but it couldn't fly. And I saw it crashing into the water, sinking underneath, and then coming up as like a swan boat. You know those like swan boats that people get in and they paddle and it's like a recreational tourist thing. So I saw the swan boat come up, and then you're in the swan boat and you're moving along down this river, but then you hit a bridge and the swan boat that you're in is so large that the head of the swan can't, it's blocking the way through the bridge because the head is coming up against the bridge. It won't pass through. So then I saw you guys have this choice to make between, well, I can't get to where I'm going down this river on the swan boat. It won't go through. Should I climb up the swan and try to jump around, or should I get in the water and float somewhere else? And then I saw you decide not to do anything and just remain where you were and go, okay, the choice is not evident. It's not evident. So I'm going to just take a moment and just be still and allow the choice, allow the path to reveal itself. And then I saw two large dragonflies, Ace of Swords energy, by the way, truth, clarity, perception, and dream time, come and lift you, the Scorpio collective, out of the swan boat and fly you a little distance ahead onto a bridge, another little bridge that was over the river. And I saw you sit there and assume like a Two of Swords position. It's like, okay, I'm where I am, Two of Swords position. And that was the meditation. So it's interesting. From that, the Two of Swords is taking a time out to bring together your heart and your head to have access to all of the information that's at your disposal, right? It's really taking a time out to consciously do that. We assume the Two of Swords position in order to have full access to the sun, which is clarity. So really interesting how this is coming forward. It does feel like the way that you're going or the path forward, it maybe wants to shift or rearrange in some way. It feels like whatever path you're taking or whatever your focus has been on, it's not quite laying out or presenting itself in the way that you either expected or thought it would in some way, shape, or form. Sometimes we really do more by doing less and allow the bigger picture at play to, come into place and reveal itself, right? So with that being said, beautiful swans, let's go ahead and see what the cards say. Hey Scorpios, let's go ahead and see what your animal energy is for the second half of November. Animal energy, second half. Oh, really? Oh, really? It's fascinating. So you got Scorpion. Remember in the meditation, I was talking about how it's hard not to equate you guys with the Scorpion, but sometimes you want to come through as the swan. It's fascinating that you're showing up in this way. It's like, no, I'm a Scorpion and I'm proud of it, and that's what it is. I love it. So Scorpion, fire energy. It's interesting. This is always an interesting one because Scorpios are water signs, and however, Scorpion, animal medicine, is fire. So there's always that sort of inner push and pull. There's always that sense of like, extreme of one way or the other. It's really fascinating. Scorpios in general, I have found, and I'm a Scorpio moon here, so I can testify to this, is there's a certain level of extremes that exist within Scorpio energy, where it's like they can be feeling, really high in the sky and really good and everything feels really aligned and feeling the full passion of life, or they can be really feeling down in the down in the depths of life experience, feeling really, really deeply, feeling really, some darkness, some, solemnness, some really feeling the extremes of the global experience and what's going on emotionally, and right. So it's a bit of extremes here. But also with this coming through for you in this way, Scorpion equates to a bit of a 5 of Swords energy in the tarot in this context, which is, acting out of your own integrity, or other people around you acting outside of their own integrity, right? Where everything is not in the truth and the light and out in the open, right? So there's an aspect of that about secrets, what is hidden, which is also Scorpio energy, right? So with this as well, with the Scorpion, in my experience, so as a Scorpio moon, I've learned quite a bit about Scorpio energy. I've had to, really. but Scorpio, I find that when the Scorpion comes out and it's activated, when the tail is up like this, right, it's ready to sting, this is usually because I have not had enough time to myself. I have not had enough alone time during which I can process the deep, extreme emotions that I'm feeling. So this often comes when there's a lot going on, there's a lot coming at me, there's a lot flying my way, and I need to process it all. I need some time on my own. I need the time and space and place within which I can, regain my sense of balance and equilibrium. Right? So this gets really activated when we're not taking enough time for ourselves, or not seeing to our own needs. Balance is so, 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 so important, right? This also makes me think of the meditation with, going one way down the water, but seeing blocks come up in the path, and then just going, okay, well, if it's all going to be blocks, then I'm just going to sit where I am and be still. And in doing so, elevating yourself to another place that feels a lot better for you to exist within, without putting your force of will on it, trying to move the swan boat, trying to move things in a way before, they're ready to move, right? Oh my God. Before they're ready to move, indeed. Here we have the Wheel of Fortune. Fascinating. We were just talking about this in terms of movement, right? And going forward and what you desire. So this is about change. This is about what goes up must come down. This is about things happening and churning and good fortune and manifestation, right? But however, what I'm getting with this is specifically for you is that there's a whole shadow aspect to the Wheel of Fortune as well, right? Which is about, yes, things are going forward, but part of that, the other half of that, is that sometimes things are delayed. Sometimes things are stalled. Sometimes when things are moving, some things get lost in the shuffle or lost in the river or blockaded or whatever have you. But this is about life. This is the way that things go, right? So it's interesting here also because we are looking at the Wheel of the Year in particular. It is the Wheel of Fortune, but in this deck, Wheel of the Year, which really speaks about living fully in the season that you're in. Really allowing yourself to look to nature as your guide as to how to spend this time and how to get the most out of the seasonal energy, right? So let's look at this time. We're moving out of your birthday season for the second half of November into Sagittarius season. Where are we in the Wheel of the Year? Well, we are in between Samhain, which started with, Halloween, October 31st, the season of Samhain, and we are working towards moving towards the Wheel of the Year. We're here, right? And we're moving here into the season of Yule, right? So we're in between these two seasons right now for the second half of November, right? So it's really interesting how this is coming forth with really understanding that sometimes you just need to allow yourself to like be where you are in terms of like the natural progression, right? You can't rush the wheel of the year. You can't rush the process. Sometimes it's just about understanding that when you're heading in a given direction, there's going to be stops along the way or detours, because construction is being done down the road ahead, and you can either spend it trying to, you know, bang that swan boat up against the construction blockades and get through, or relax on a nice lovely bridge with dragonflies hovering around, you know, all peaceful like on the river, right? But I feel like there's an aspect of like surrendering to the natural timing of things, right? Let's see what else is going on. Okay, 3 of Swords in reverse. Who else got this? Okay, so Aquarius got 3 of Swords as well. You also, the Swan I was seeing is Aquarius energy. Maybe take a look at the Aquarius reading as a supplement to this one, because I feel like they're holding hands. Okay, 3 of Swords in reverse. Brilliant. So in the upright, 3 of Swords is about that heart pain, but it's heart pain that stems from the past. Right? This doesn't just happen one day. This is stuff that has been, you know, brewing and churning for a long time. This could even be heart pain that we thought we had healed, and then it comes up suddenly out of nowhere, and it's a lot to what with the Scorpion? A lot to process. And that's what I'm getting here with the 3 of Swords in reverse. I feel like there's a lot of healing that's taken place, but I feel like this is part of why you're being detoured to this bridge in a way, because you're being asked to just process some leftover remnants of things that have been, right? So that it can get healed and transformed so you can move forward with a bit of a, you know, cleaner heart landscape within which to work and manifest. But there's something about this that just wants to be tidied up, that just wants to be clear about. I feel like it might surprise you. But when this Scorpion is coming through in this way, something emotional is being activated here that's coming up for review, okay? I feel like for some of you guys, what I'm looking at is an attachment to things working out in a specific way or in a specific time. The key to contentment could very well be releasing any expectations around that, okay? What's going on? I know it's hard. I know I say all this like, oh, it's just as simple as ABC 1, 2, 3. I know how difficult that could be. I totally get it. But when the reward is the 4 of Wands, why not? I love that you're ending in this position. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. 4 of Wands, 11, happiness, celebration, really, really appreciating exactly where you are and how far you've come to get here. This is happy home and family, rejoicing. I mean, look at him having a good old time. This is a beautifully positive energy. I will say, the way that this is storyboarding, it's fascinating, right? Because you've got the wheel here, right? Moving along, you're feeling within you the need to shift things, you want to manifest things, right? But as the wheel turns, it's also freeing loose some old dynamics or old belief systems or old relationships or old, you know, past patterns or pain that are coming up for review and clearance. See how this is lining up with the Scorpion directly and is acting as a mirror reflection? Remember how I said that this is 5 of Swords and now it's coming up as 3 of Swords, and then the reward as a result of dealing with this stuff that wants to come up, right, is the 4 of Wands? I love how this is storyboarding for you. I feel like that, you know, you're being called to Marie Kondo some stuff here that is in your emotional body that I feel like may surprise you. I do feel like for some of you, again, like I said, I feel like it's like a strong attachment or expectation to things happening in a certain time or in a certain way, or certain things in your past that didn't happen in the way that you wanted or in time. It's really, I feel like it's really easy to say, and we hear this a lot, right? Of like, just release it. Just release it. Let it go. But especially for a Scorpio, it's not as simple as that, right? It's kind of like what's a good example? It's kind of like spilling some tomato sauce on a white couch, right? And then just going like, well, just like clean it up, just make it disappear. And it's like, well, that's a process, sweetie. Like there's a way to go about it. Or you could make it worse. If you just go in there with a towel and start wiping, like you gotta be very, right? You gotta spot treat it, honey. You gotta spot treat it. You gotta lift up the tomato sauce. You gotta not rub it. You gotta dab it, right? And then you gotta put that stain to get you some Resolve on there and then let it sit for 10 minutes, right? And then maybe do another round of it and then dab it, right? It's a process. And I feel like that's what's coming through for you here. Like there's an aspect of the heart going on here that is that bit of tomato sauce that you thought you cleaned up, but it really needed a second round of spot treatment. Something in that for you. But as a result, you graduate to the Four of Wands and you're able to fully appreciate and enjoy where you are. But I feel like this is what is keeping you from it. It's tied to expectation in some way. Okay, let's get some advice. Let's get some advice. Oh, really? I like it. Okay. So we got the Knight of Cups here for your advice. What's really I'm very drawn to this, like, what would we call that? A dagger. Yeah, I'm really drawn to this dagger on the thigh here. So Knight of Cups. So I like that this is coming through for you in this way because you are a water sign, right? We don't have any other water energy here. So I like that this is coming up as your advice. Also, you know, this aspect of like being in the water. I saw that river with the swan and staying there on a bridge over the water. It's like this lily pad. Is its own bridge on the water. I feel like this is really beautiful advice for you because Knight of Cups is also about allowing yourself to feel things in a way that is unencumbered and non-judgmental without any sort of time limit. So this is saying feel the full extent of your heart and what it truly desires and what it's I know it sounds like very trite, but truly what the heart wants, what it's trying to tell you, the information that it's giving you. Because this Scorpion energy, with it being this intense and the Three of Swords in reverse, this is the way forward around this, right? So it's kind of coming up to say with the Knight of Cups is a dreamer. Knight of Cups is someone who's very romantic. Knight of Cups loves like they've never been hurt before, right? So it's interesting that this is coming up as your advice. I'm hearing really tend to your heart space, but from a place of, you know, don't put a time limit on it. It's going to take as long as it takes. And the more you don't put a time limit on it, the quicker it will go. That just seems to be the way. It's not why you shouldn't put a time limit on it, but like just a little bit of a cheat sheet there, right? That's usually how it goes. It's like if I just have no expectations about, you know, this process and really also observing your emotional body as you move through this time, because that's incredibly important as well. She's sitting on the lily pads with the water around her, but she does have wings. She is in the air, and the power of observation. Because if you can observe your feelings, that is a beautiful remedy for that Scorpion energy. It's like, let's feel things as they are. Let's not run away from it. Let's accept it. But if I can also marry this with this, my power of observation, then I have the ability and power, so to speak, to not just see it more clearly, but to make choices as a result of these deep feelings. So I'm not swept under the tides and drowning in the river of my own feelings. I'm taking the information that the feelings are giving me, right? Because feelings are information. Feelings are information. And you're being asked to glean that information from a place of observation, right? It's like being the Sherlock Holmes of your own emotional core. But like as a fairy. Let's get an oracle. I'm feeling this one. Oracle for the Scorpios. Oh, stop. Stop. Do you remember I said at the beginning that you guys are like scorpions? I also relate you to bats because it's death energy as well. We got the bat here. I'm so here for it. I share my needs, listening, sensitivity, bat and throat chakra. Hello and goodbye and hello again. I share my needs, listening, sensitivity. Sensitivity all day long. You know, I feel like listening, we're talking about observing your feelings, but I think this is a really beautiful note to end on, because there's an aspect of this as well where it's really hard to communicate when we're in a Scorpion energy. It really, really is. I love how like I got a frog in my throat right as this is coming at the end here. But that's a really important aspect of it. When we're in the Scorpion mode, we are being experiencers, right? We're experiencing everything. Everything is happening, you know, at us. We're feeling it. We don't have autonomy because the feelings are so strong. So you are being encouraged to take that experience aspect and shift it and blend it with the observer mode. Because the key to getting anything out of that experiencer energy is to blend in some observation, right? I share my needs, listening sensitivity. I like this is coming through because it's really important that you be able to, you know, communicate well to others around you what your needs are. Because remember how I said with the Scorpion energy, when it has that tail raised, right? More likely you would rather sting yourself than someone around you that you love who's innocent, right? But the Scorpion doesn't necessarily discriminate. When those emotions are high like that, it's like, okay, maybe really take a step away, go be in your own energy so that if that stinger needs to make contact, that you sting yourself and not anybody else. Because that's only going to compound things and make it worse, right? It's like when you're feeling things, you take it out on someone else, or someone else is at the mercy of your own, you know, deep feelings or emotion. So this is really important. I feel like this is coming in to say, like, listening sensitivity. This is about you expressing to others, like, this is happening within me. I can observe it enough to communicate to you that I need A, B, C, X, Y, Z. And this is going to be different for everybody. Might be taking some time on your own to process feelings, maybe a disappointment, or maybe process a big shift or change that's coming up, whatever it is, right? This is also about you sharing a sensitivity, back to the Knight of Cups as well, really communicating with yourself as well and being honest with yourself about what you need. Because when you deny it, when we deny our needs and act like that everything is one way when really we're feeling differently, that's what leads to implosions and tower moments and all the rest of it. So you're being asked to take that responsibility of your superpower as a Scorpio is, well, you have a lot of superpowers, but it's your ability to feel things very deeply in a way where you are processing the collective shadow of the psyche. That's what you're here to embody in a way. So the other side of that superpower is the responsibility to say, you know what, I've got some stuff churning. I need to go process it. And I think the best way to do that, like with this Knight of Cups here as well, is to sit on top of it, observe it, sit with it, but don't let it take you under. And again, part of that other key is understanding how your expectations, your need for control or strong desire about how and when things do or don't take shape could be directly related to why the Scorpion is coming up for you in this way and eliciting such intense feelings. Isn't there like a Buddhist quote, something to the tune of like, all misery is linked to attachment? Something about that, okay? All right, Scorpios. I so hope that this helps and resonates. If so, please let me know in the comments below. I love reading your comments. Also, a bit of drama going on with YouTube where they are unsubscribing people from the channel who are not commenting and liking. So if you're not interacting with the videos outside of just watching them, YouTube is unsubscribing you. Don't ask me why, I do not know. But if you'd like to stay subscribed, like and comment. Also, the link to join the waitlist for my Be Your Own Intuitive membership is in the description box below. And with that being said, just thank you. Thank you so, so much for being here. And as always, and most of all, beautiful Scorpions, thank you for being you. And be well. Until next time.